class is on geometric shapes and 3D perspective. Yes. What is 3D perspective? It sounds very technical, doesn't it? Well, no, not really. It's basically you take a object you see which has 3 dimensions, which means it has a height, a length, and a depth. Okay? So when we look at a chair, we see it's got mass. It's not flat. So in order to get the chair on the paper, or in this case chalkboard, we have to imagine the chair is flat. Okay? But we're going to start off very simple, very basic, to start off with making an object flat, but it will appear that it's not flat on the paper. So it's kind of a conversion from something you see that's in real life and it's not flat. To put it on the paper, we have to flatten it. So this is what we'll do. If we take a box, a flat box is just a square. But if we see a box and then flatten it, the box, if we squish it and we're looking at it on an angle, the box has angles, and we just flatten it to the paper or chalkboard. Now we can tell that this is a box and it has a length, a width, and a depth. The depth is there. And we do all kinds of things to make the depth appear on a flat surface. For one thing, when something goes far away, it gets smaller when it gets further away. So things are kind of appear closer together and a lot smaller. So if this was a sidewalk and we're looking at it on an angle, that means the lines are on an angle, and as they get further away, they get smaller and smaller. Okay, so now you see that this ladder laying down is smaller when it's further away, and the lines are closer together here. All lines get closer together when it gets further away. So now we take, so that's a box. Now if we take a ball, which is a circle, if we squished it flat, how do we make that so it looks like it's not flat? Well, one way is to put lines in it. Put lines in it that follow the lines of a circle, like on a tennis ball, or actually that's a beach ball. Tennis ball would have a different pattern on it. But if we make lines to give us the indication that it's round. Now the circle looks more like a ball. Now let's see what else we have here. We have a triangle. A triangle, when it's flat, is like that. But if it's something that we can pick up, then it's going to, again, get smaller as it gets further away. And we have here, what is this called, Jordan, Kiera?
A triangle.
When it's like this, it's called a prism.
Yes.
A triangular prism. Now say we wanted, like a pyramid looks like a triangle if you look at it straight on. But from an angle, you can see many sides and it appears three-dimensional. So the idea to get it on the paper or chalkboard is to imagine seeing the pyramid. You see the pyramid already on the paper or chalkboard with your mind. And then when you see it, you have to focus and keep imagining until it becomes clear on the paper. Then you just imagine lines around the object and draw those lines. So I'm going to try to imagine seeing a pyramid. So here, I'm going to start a pyramid like this. I know it's part of a triangle. I'm not seeing the image in my mind yet. I have to try harder to see the image in my mind. So let's try again. I have to see the pyramid. If I turn the pyramid around in my mind so I can see more sides, it will appear more three-dimensional. So let's turn it a little bit. So now we can see it looks more three-dimensional, especially if I add a little road here. Remember, the lines get further away, get smaller, closer up. So now it kind of looks like a pyramid. Here, this is our world, so if we want a flag on the pyramid, we could put a flag on the pyramid. And it's waving in the air, so we have a wavy flag. Now let's see, if we looked at a pyramid from directly above, if we were a bird or a plane, we might see the square of the pyramid and then the lines of the pyramid. So, but that still looks flat. It could be a box, could be a pyramid. So we want to imagine tilting the angle more. So let's get the bottom. What's closest to us? That's closest to us. Okay, so then I did the bottom, and then the top would be there, and a line down the center. There, that's more of a three-dimensional pyramid.
With the square, you know how that's a polygon? Yeah. That is a cube.
Yes, a cube. If you look at a triangle and you extend the triangle, it becomes a prism.
Yeah.
Prism.
Prism.
If you turn the triangle, if it was a pyramid on an angle, you could do a V for the bottom part, and then a line. That's where, and then join the lines. Now that still looks kind of like a square. So let's try to make the pyramid a little taller. So it'll give more of an indication that it's actually, there's like a tent. That kind of looks like a tent. And you know what, if you extend it, the lines, it'll even looks more like a tent. Okay, and then you could put lines that hold in pegs to hold the tent. Okay, and remember, if we're doing the back of it, it's going to be a little bit smaller because it's further away. Now we have a tent. Okay, and maybe there's a little fold in the tent on either side. Okay, for some flaps. And if we take this line away, it'll look like, maybe it'll look like the tent's opened in the front. Okay, and if you want, if this looks kind of not right, you can erase whatever you don't think is quite right and just fix it to look more like a tent. See? Can you get a load of that?
Yep.
And this line maybe should drop down a little bit further here. Okay, now that looks more like a tent. So that's the idea. So we take an object, imagine if we tilt it a little so we can see more angles, and remember to make it smaller of what is supposed to be further away, and have all the lines basically on the same angle. So if you have a line like this, the one beside it would be the same angle, and then if you have a straight line going across, you would want a straight line. All the lines that are what they call parallel are straight with it. So when you do something, now this looks more like something that is folded, like three-dimensionally. Or you can continue copying these lines at the same angle, and these lines at the same angle, and those lines at the same angle. We're going to follow, and then this, if I draw a line here, that same angle as that one. Okay, now you can see that this is getting more towards a box. We could erase these lines to make it more, because we decided about what kind of shape we're making. It's great with chalk because you could easily erase the lines. Now you have kind of a long box. And the mistake I made here is, see how this side, this is bigger than this side. So it appears closer to you. So what we want to do is we want to make this side a little smaller. So we'll try again. You can erase. how can we make that smaller? Well, we'd have to make it smaller and connect these lines here. So this one goes to there, this one goes to there, and now you can see it's a little bit further away. Now it looks more like a block. And that's about it today. We're just practicing. The main key is to practice imagining putting the object on the paper or chalkboard before you draw it, and then just trace your imagination. Something goes a little wrong, off, erase, redraw, and then add the fine detail. And that's it for today, class. Thanks for joining us with Art is Fun with Daddy.